Right, now I'm going to set up a method feeder. It's a nice little method over here at Redbridge Lakes. It catches the skimmers, it catches the little carp and the crucians, and it catches the eyed, and it also catches the bigger carp as well. So a good little method to know. So here's my line and my rod. So it's all useful to start with. And here's a few little bits you might want. There's a method mould. Here's a little banding, this is a banding tool. And here's a little needle, some scissors. There's your method feeder, and there's a little connector. And what I'm going to do is thread all this method feeder on the line to start with. Put a line through there, like that. That's it. And this little gadget here is a quick change bead, and they're a bit fiddly. You put the line through that end there, like that. Let that slide down the line, and that little tiny bit you pulled out at the end, you're going to put your line through there and do a nice overhand knot and try and get it as tight to the end of there as you possibly can. Again, it's a bit fiddly. Make that nice and tight. So now that bit comes down, not pokes in there, and that pulls back into that gadget. Right, now we need a banded hook. Here's your hook length. The hook length only needs to be about 4 to 6 inches long. Put that over the end of there, pull that through, and now we're going to push that over there so that's all nice and tight and the hook length won't come off. Okay, now this gadget now pulls into the method feeder. It just sits in there, and the idea is when the fish pulls on the hook, it feels the weight and hooks itself. Now a lot of people don't agree with that because they say the fish is going to swim around with a lead behind it. But what I'll do, that will pull out, that will pull off, pull out of there if it gets snagged into a bush or something or other, and then the fish can go free. So if that gets stuck in a bush or in a bit of weed on the bottom or something, the line snaps and the fish can swim around with just the line and not the feeder. It's always a good policy, all the same, whatever you're doing, is to make sure that your hook length is a finer line than your main line. If you do that, then the worst thing can happen is you'll just lose your hook length. So now we've got that set up, I'm going to show you how to use, first of all, a banding tool. Now I've got a little pellet here, and I'm going to put the band on the end of the hook here on this banding tool, and we can push that and that opens that up. And here's a little pellet, I'll stick it on there, put it off, and here is a pellet hanging on the end of the hook, like that. So the idea with this is if the hook is free, then it's got more chance of hooking the fish. So as the fish takes that, if it tries to reject it, it will reject the bait, but not the hook. So the hook will go last, and hopefully it will just nick the fish, and then the fish bolts and then you get your bite, and the bites are quite violent. Now if you don't want to use one of these, you want to use a bit of corn, what I would do is take your piece of corn and your banding tool, this is not a band, sorry, this is a little gated needle. Just open that gate, poke that through from the open side of the corn, through that bit, okay? And get your band and shut the gate and pull that. That's not supposed to happen. Okay, we'll start again. We'll get another. We get another band. We'll put the band through there. Shut the gate. And we'll pull that tight. And there you go. There's your piece of corn sitting on the end of the hook. And that's really, really nicely on the end of the line. That's not going to come off until you've got a fish on. So that's you up and ready with that. I'm just going to put this, take that one off of there, because that was pretty useless. And we're going to put that one back on there. What's the chances of that happening? Oh, there we go. I'll tie a little loop on that one. Trying to do this quickly. There we go. You can bite it off or use a pair of scissors. I'm a little uncouth, I bite mine off. I'll put that back on there again. Okay, so that's on there. Now that's ready to fish. Apart from, we want to put a bit of bait on the method feeder. So, here's a bit of micro pellet. You can do different ground bait mixes, but a bit of micro pellet is as good as anything. Just make it nice and soft and fluffy. It probably takes about 15 minutes, a little bit of water, nice and soft and fluffy. You might have to mess around with it before you get it right. Put your method mould in there. Put your piece of corn or your pellet or whatever it is in there. A few micro pellets on the top, and then fold your feeder into that. Pick that up, and we're going to squeeze that. And if you've got your pellets mixed up right, and I don't know whether this is going to right happen or not, we should be able to push that through there, and that'll be sitting out there with the corn sitting just on top of your method feeder. Okay, so when you cast that out, hopefully a fish will come along, see your micros, suck that bit of corn off the top of it, bump, hook itself, and away you go. Fish on. That's it.